Welcome back. This is the cash transaction section of the cash book manager. And in this section, you record your daily transaction, deposits, withdrawals, income, expense. This is where you do most of the work in this section. As you can see, we have the navigation links that easily allow the user to navigate from one section to another. All you need to do is just to click on it and you're directed to another section of this template. And you can see we have our data in a table, and we have columns with an orange color and a column with a blue color. For the user, it's important to know that you're only allowed to input details or data in this section of the table. So the section that has the orange column heading is where the user is allowed to make input, because the blue column heading has formula in it and automatically updates itself. So to avoid accidentally distorting those formulas, please don't tamper with this section. Just input your data in this section with the orange column heading. Now let's look at how you can input your opening balances. As if you've purchased this template and you desire to start working on it in the month of July, take for instance, your opening balance will be the closing balance as at the 30th of June. To be the closing balance as at the 30th of June. One thing you need to know when you put in that balance is to select, let's say you're starting to use this template 1st of July. So your opening balance on this template should be 30th of June. And it should have the deposit type, input the opening transaction, opening bank statement balance. Then you input the amount in on the bank statement that's as at the 30th of June. So with your bank statement, because you're getting this information from your bank statement, so the amount stated as closing balance as at 30th of June is what you input here. And it's a tax exempt transaction because it's just a balance in the bank. Then the bank to which this balance is related, and your account name, important, should be cash transfer control. Any bank transaction, interbank transaction, and opening balances has this is captured under this account. That's the cash transfer control. Then your bank statement should also have the same date with your transaction date for opening balances. So if your opening balance is 30th of June, right, because you're starting to use the template on the 1st of July, your bank statement should also be 30th of June. Please have that in mind. That's quite important. I'll also explain the interbank transaction, because the interbank transaction also captures cash transfer control as its account. Right. Now let's say money is leaving this bank 02, to our let me say petty cash, right? And let me input it so that you have a better understanding. 30th of June. Let's to the 30th of June. Money is leaving. So what you will do is that you record the money leaving one bank and also record the money going into another bank. So the first is the withdrawal. So the money is leaving a bank 02. So it's going to be a withdrawal. So just why is it leaving? I think it's we are trying to move it from this bank to our petty cash. So I'll just use petty cash just to get to know that this is a petty cash transaction. Petty cash. Okay, I'll just say PC here, and permit me just to use petty cash reimbursement. I don't know if my spellings are correct, just permit me. Right, so we have 100,000. So because it's an interbank transaction, though a petty cash is not a bank account, but it's treated the same way, it has the same treatment as the bank. So it's going to be tax exempt, though we are moving the money from bank O2. So it's going to be a bank exempt. Let me just select. You see, I inputted the wrong figure. That's why that error came up. So good. So I'm moving it from this bank code 02. So what I will now select here, please have this in mind, your account name now, because you are moving from one bank to another. So the account is leaving will have the cash transfer control. Right. So when you get your bank statement, because it's leaving this bank account, you can put the bank statement date, know the date the money left the account. So the second is that is entering into the petty cash. So still on that 30th, you have two transactions to record 2020. So a deposit into our petty cash. So we'll just use the same details. Petty cash reimbursement 100, same, but this is a deposit now into still tax exempt. So this will be PC, petty cash, the money entered a deposit. So here will still be cash transfer control. Mind you, we are treating petty cash the same way we are treating, because any interbank transaction, one bank to another, or one bank to petty cash, or cash on hand to bank, we treat it and we use this account name cash transfer control to track such transaction. So for petty cash, the same date you have at on your transaction date is the same date you will use. So I'll see you 30th June 2020. All right. So my input stops here. Mind you, you're not to tamper with the column that has the blue heading. So your input stops at this column, the bank statement date. Here I won't input it until I get my bank statement and I will know the date I'll input it. You understand? The date the transaction reflected on the bank statement, then I will input it so that my bank reconciliation will be well captured. So that's how you treat such transaction. And again, I also want to bring to your notice how you remit your tax. Right. When you go to your dashboard, let me select bank code 2. Okay, code 1. We have 209 here. So it's telling us that this is the amount of tax we are to remit, right? So let's go back to our cash transaction. Let's say, okay, I want to remit that tax. Still on the 30th of June. So there's a withdrawal. So it's going to be sales tax. Okay, Federal Inland Revenue Service, right? So I'll just write FIRX, Federal Inland Revenue Service. Good. Okay, tax sales VAT remittance. Remittance. Hope I'm correct. Remittance 1M. Tax remittance. So we have I think it's 20, what do we have there? 20930.30. So I have 209.30, because from my dashboard, that's the amount of tax to pay. So it's tax exempt because they are not taxing tax that you're paying again. So here the money is leaving your bank 01. Now, this is where I want us to pay attention. In your account name, what you select here is your sales tax control. Sales tax control. See this account, this is what you select, right? Sales tax control. So when you get your bank statement, you know the date the money left and you put the date here. Don't touch the column with the blue heading. Don't touch any cell here, please. It has formula in it and it's automated. Please don't distort it. Just stop at the bank statement date and move to the next line to input your transaction. So when you go back to your dashboard, you see, wow, we've paid. So we are not owing again, unless you check another bank and you'll see if we are owing or not. Let's say bank 2. So you know we are owing based on transaction that took place under this bank code. I believe you're really getting this and you can really appreciate how this template is quite automated and can help your business. Right. So that's basically the major things I really want to bring to your notice when working on the transaction section of this cash book manager. The other transaction income, maybe inflows and outflows are already just automated. If it's an income, a sales you made that is tax inclusive, calculate your because before you make the sales, you've already included tax inside into it. So you put that amount that has a tax, it will automatically then select the tax code. If it's 7.5, remember on our settings, we have the tax code. 01 is 7.5. So you select the tax code if it is tax 01 or 02. Right. So it will now calculate everything. And from the bank which you are making that money is coming into, and what transaction is it sales of products or sales of service, income from products, income from service. And if it's an expense, the same thing, just go to the next row and input it, select the relevant table. Ensure you stop at this column. Don't touch the from column M, please. Don't tamper. Don't tamper, please. Right. So that's all you need to know about the cash transaction section of the cash book manager.